Namaste. Welcome to Mama Mandala, where magic is somatic. I'm Hagar. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to my new space. I am in a new house. I'm so excited. So thanks for joining me here. I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm recording and releasing this in January. So there is a collective experience of a new beginning, of an opportunity, a doorway, a threshold of renewing our commitment to certain things, releasing things that are not supporting our process of orienting ourselves around the habits that we want to cultivate or the ways of beings that we want to root ourselves more deeply into, or the practices that we want to commit more deeply to. So the time of year within which, or the times in our lives that mark these doorways into renewal, are also times of shedding. In a way, releasing and gathering are happening simultaneously. The universe breaks itself open, breaks itself into being, bangs itself into existence, and in the process of this destructive, violent force that erupts into being, there's a becoming, right? The eruption into being destroys the previous form and moves us, directs us into new form, into new forms, into many new forms. So in this time, there's a simultaneity, and you don't need to be in the beginning of the year. If you're watching this at a different time, every moment in our lives can become the doorway between, the space between the simultaneity of dropping and picking up, of destroying in order to create, of shedding and shattering certain ways of being, thinking, and behaving in order to construct healthier, more inspired, more wanted and desired ways of being. And the process is simultaneous. Now, if you are watching this in January, or you are at the precipice of something new, the tendency of the overculture is to push us out of the womb really fast, right? January, everybody is in a hurry to get those habits going, to get to that thing, to get to that goal, to achieve something. The world right now is culturally still, even though a lot of us have been resisting and reorienting ourselves in our ways of being, we're still under the overculture that is a capitalistic society. So it takes time to start something new. It takes time to create the kind of relationship with a new way of being, of trust, right? Of being able to, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. It takes repetition. And it's something that patience needs to be cultivated for. And no, you're not going to find anyone in the world who is as frustrated with the concept of patience as I am. So I hear you. If this is not easy for you, I'm right there with you. Probably that's why I'm bringing that in, because I often like to share with you this, not from a place of, oh, I've done this and I've accomplished this and now I know, so I'm here to lead you into this way, right? Not at all from there. I am right there with you. I'm in the process. I'm in the cauldron. I'm in this with you, and we get to do this work together. I'm never going to share with you something from higher above. I'm always going to share with you from inside, from where I think a lot of us are. And the invitation in these times when we are renewing ourselves is to actually pause and take our time and enter the new cycle slowly. So if you're entering a new cycle in your life, or if this is a new phase, or if it's something small that you're trying to cultivate and shift and change, deep breaths. You can take a couple of deeper breaths with me right now. We're still talking about this and contemplating this, but a few deeper breaths. Slow breath through the nose, into your belly, and a slow breath out. So we're signaling our system that we are here with this, that we're not rushing, not rushing. If this is winter for you right now, if you are watching this around the time I'm releasing this is deep winter. It's the time when the animals are hibernating. We're in the cave. You know, there's a Celtic goddess, Irish Scottish goddess. Her name is Cailleach. And she is the goddess of winter, and she has a hammer in her hand, and she's fierce and ferocious. She's an old woman. She has a form that can be interpreted as very scary and threatening. And with her hammer, she bangs on rocks, and she makes the mountains shake, and she makes the rocks sometimes roll down the mountain in a roar, and she herself roars, and she's intense. And her intensity is in order to protect the animals, so that they're scared to come out too soon before winter does its thing, so that they stay in hibernation and stay in the cave, protected from the storms that are necessary for the renewal of spring later on. So for me, that's so evocative and so helpful to remember, oh, yeah, the things that keep me a little bit more timid and not rushing. We can look at our fears as something that's limiting us and stopping us from doing things, and that's absolutely true. And there's more to that truth. Part of that truth is that our fears are also invitations. There are doorways. Again, here we are at the doorway, at the threshold of the year. There are doorways into deeper contemplation, into patience, into questioning ourselves in a healthy way. So we hear the teaching of don't question yourself, just go for it a lot. And there's value to that. I'm not negating it. There are times, there are moments, there are pieces of it that are important to cultivate. And there's also value in taking our time and pausing. Fear helps us pause. Fear invites us to go, well, let me take a moment. Let me consider, is the fear protecting me from something that it's necessary for me to stay away from and to take my time carving my path around it? Or is this fear debilitating and limiting me and causing me to not go for the things that are going to be better for me and for my life and for others around me as well? There are lines, and I think that the invitation is to explore, to ask ourselves, to question, to wonder, to ponder. And there is actually a Hindu deity that is the archetypal presence of new beginning. It's Ganesha, or also known as Ganapati, and it's the elephant-headed deity from the Hindu tradition, and it's so sweet. Got an elephant's head and his trunk, which is in the middle of his face. It's the midline of our being, the threshold, the space between things, the core. It's like the core of you and the space between you and something else. It's both end. And we'll do a practice that helps us connect to those two places that both represents the center, the madhya in Sanskrit. The elephant with a trunk, the elephant-headed being with a trunk, is an invitation to see the trunk as the center. Iconographically, symbolically, this is the center. But look, my hands want to do that because the trunk of the elephant moves. So many times we hear the teaching of finding our center and connecting to our center, something that is immovable in a way, right? Very grounded, which is great, but then it can evoke this feeling of stillness. But what if our center is the trunk of the elephant, which is also, by the way, the presence of Kundalini, the presence of the awakening, the presence of the serpent of awakening. And it is ever undulating, it's moving. So patience as we enter the thresholds of change in our lives, not rushing out of the cave, listening to the different voices and to the different invitations to take our time and not rush, not in a way that's debilitating and stopping us from doing the things that we want to and need to do, but in ways that give us time and space to cultivate new ways slowly so that they can become more of a home rather than just something we pass through, except sometimes we need to just pass through, and that's okay too, right? There's space for all of it. But then as we enter those times of change, the invitation is to anchor into a sense of centeredness, not in a way of rigidity, not in a way of, okay, my center, I have to be this still presence, but the center is a breathing, moving presence. And that's what I would like to invite us into as we move into this new phase, wherever and whenever you find yourself. So let's do this practice. It comes from the Vijnana Bhairava, which is a tantric text written, or it's not written, it was orally transmitted, but 8th century or so in India. And this is one of the first practices, the first practice really in the text. And it's a text full of practices, invitations to open up the doorways into the madhya, the midline, the space between, the liminality that is in the yoga tradition, the expanse of the universe. And isn't that great? We enter a new year and we enter this threshold and we enter this space as an invitation into the expansive sense of being, rather than the overculture that is so tight and like, get to your goal and do the thing and go to 5 yoga classes a week. But then by the 3rd week of January, you're tired and you don't want to go to any yoga classes, right? So like sometimes entering all the way in, I don't want to negate anything. I want to make space for different ways and different things. I just want to offer us something that's a little counter culture, because some of us really need it. Some of us really need the time. So this first dharana, this first practice, this first meditation, this first way of focusing is on the midline, in the space that's between the breaths. One is between the inhale and the exhale, and that's hrid, the heart. And that's in the heart of our being. So you can kind of go into your physical heart, but go into that space inside of you, at the center of your being, between the back and the front, between the sides of you. So it's physical heart, but it's also not physical heart. It's called a spiritual heart. And then at the end of the exhalation, before your next inhale, you touch what's called a Dvadashanta. So it's 12 fingers. If you kind of mark it, you can put 10 and then 2 more. You can do that if you'd like. 12 fingers distance from your nostril. So you want your breath to aim into that space. And that space in the yoga tradition is considered to be sort of where it's all around you. It's kind of your aura, if you will, right? So it's the space between you and the world. It's where your subtle body ends in the yoga tradition. So see how it's the space inside and it's the space between you and the rest of the world. The space inside, it's the expanse of the universe. The space between you and the world, is the expanse of the universe. Both are marking the individual and the universal both, right? This is the end of your subtle body. It marks the boundary of you, right? When anybody comes closer than 12 fingers, it feels like they crossed the boundary. So this is you, and this is you, and this is the world, the universe, everything else, and this is the expanse of the cosmos. Shall we do that? You can rest your hands on your thighs. If you'd like, you can do a mudra. This is chin mudra. So the thumb and the index fingers gently touch, and you can rest your hands on your thighs. I'm doing palms facing down right now, but if you prefer palms facing up, you're welcome to. Just kind of feel into what is most supportive for you at the moment, and allow your eyes to soften. You don't have to close them right away. Whenever they want to close, you can follow your body's lead, follow the signals that it's giving you, and turn your awareness to your breath. Gentle, soft, slow breathing. When you're ready, you can bring a tone to the back of the throat. So the breath makes this resonant sound. Ujjayi pranayama. If you're not quite sure how to make this sound, you can breathe in through your nose. And when you breathe out through your mouth and make a whispering sound. Now close your mouth and make this whispering sound on your inhale. And then you can do that again. Open your mouth and make this whispering sound. And close your mouth and make a whispering sound as you breathe in. And see if you can keep your mouth closed as you breathe out, making this whispering sound. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. When you breathe in now, pause at the top of your inhale. Let your awareness touch the heart, the core of you, the core of existence. And then breathe out slowly. Let the breath reach the 12 fingers space distance from your nostrils. Touch there, touch the boundary of you, that which connects and divides at the same time, you and the world. And then from there, breathe in. Let your awareness touch the hrid, the heart, the center, the madhya. Let it expand. And exhale slowly. Allow the breath to touch the space between you and the world, the madhya, the midline, and then inhale. Feel what's in your heart, and then let it flow on the wave of your exhalation to touch the boundary between you and the world. Notice what's at that boundary, at that threshold, and breathe it in. Touch the center and breathe out. Touch the center and breathe in. And take your time being with yourself in those two threshold spaces. Notice what's arising. Notice what needs your attention. Notice what asks for a softer, tender tending to. And keep touching your awareness in the space between your inhale and your exhale at the heart of the universe. And between your exhale and your inhale at the boundary between you and the expanse of the world. Let each of those thresholds be like the cave, a space for you to take your time in, to learn in. Each is a womb of regeneration and receptivity. Each is a doorway. And when you're ready, softly bring your hands together in front of your heart. In Anjali Mudra, and rub your hands together just a little bit. You can softly drop the effort from your breath. Place your left hand over your heart, your right hand over your belly, and let your breath now move with less effort, with less attention and intention, just moving naturally, returning to what I like to call the somatic automatic. Yeah, I could feel a breath wanting to unwind a little bit, so you can listen to what needs to happen in your system and follow it, always follow it. And then rejoin the hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart. And allow your eyes to very softly, gently open. If this is in any way a way that you enjoy and benefit from practicing, working with symbols and with philosophy, with mythic concepts, if you'd like to do that in community and you want to go deeper into these practices and deeper into symbolism and the mythic kind of vast body of teachings, I am offering 2 live spaces. This is a new offering. So 2 different live spaces. One is a weekly mythic meditation class, and the other one is a dark moon circle. We all know the new moon, we all know the full moon, but the dark moon is a time of release, of shedding, of letting some things die, of being present with ourselves in times or in moments or in situations that need our tending to grief and to release and to allowing ourselves to be really truly where we are. The darkness is this fertile ground of honesty. So I'm offering dark moon circles and mythic meditation weekly class. So one is monthly, the other one is weekly. I'm very excited about that. And if this kind of way of working speaks to you, there's 2 places where you can get the details. One is through my mailing list, and the other one is my Substack. I will leave links for you for both in the description of the video so that you can subscribe to both. And there's more inspiration coming through those 2 channels as well. So you're gonna benefit from subscribing even if you don't join us for those 2 spaces. I'm so grateful that we got to have this moment together. And if this is a new year for you, I am wishing you a meaningful, beautiful, cosmically inspired kind of a year. And I am looking forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so, so much. Namaste.